Um, Picture this. We're in the Sudanese desert, sun's beaten down, and all of a sudden, boom, a pyramid just pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it was always there.
Completely forgotten. Not a single historical record mentions this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a blank spot in history. And that's what we're going to be exploring today. Trying to uncover the story behind this forgotten structure, using, of course, the notes that we've got here. So it's not a whole lot to go on, but, well, it's enough to get us started.
Absolutely. And I think one of the first things that struck the team when they discovered this pyramid was that it wasn't your typical pharaoh's tomb.
No. How so?
Well, it wasn't this grand, monument to a king's ego. It was more understated, almost hidden.
So maybe like a tomb for a high-ranking official. Someone important, but not, pharaoh level.
That was the initial assumption. But once they got inside, it became clear that this was something else entirely. The air inside was unusually warm, stale. Not what you'd expect from a sealed tomb.
Oh, that's interesting, right? Because you'd expect it to be kind of cool and dry, like a cave almost.
Right. And then there were the hieroglyphs. They weren't about the afterlife or the journey of the soul. Instead, they were a stark warning, like, "Here lies the false king. Disturb not the seal, lest you hear the whispers of the lost."
Whoa. Okay, that sends chills down my spine. Not exactly a warm welcome, huh?
No, it felt less like a commemoration and more like they were trying to contain something.
Yeah, like a big do not enter sign, but in ancient Egyptian.
Exactly. And adding to the mystery was the sarcophagus itself. It was asymmetrical, almost twisted. And get this, when the lead archaeologist, Dr. Vance, touched it, the torches in the chamber flickered and there was this distant sigh, as if their very presence had triggered something.
Wait, like an actual sigh?
That's what the reports say, yeah. It's a very immediate indication that they had disturbed something.
Okay, wow. So what happened next?
Well, almost immediately, members of the team started experiencing this strange illness.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It started with Dr. Vance. He kept complaining about this constant whispering he could hear, but no one else could hear it. It was driving him crazy.
That's creepy, like a voice in his head.
Exactly. And then others started showing symptoms too. This unsettling restlessness and an unnatural paleness.
So like something beyond just a typical, run-of-the-mill infection.
Right. And when you connect this to the bizarre behavior that followed, it gets even more disturbing. Some crew members started digging frantically, muttering in this completely unknown language.
Oh, hold on. Like they were possessed or something.
It suggests some kind of external influence, a loss of their own will.
Okay, this is getting really weird. What else happened?
Well, there was a team's translator, Omar. He said a silent prayer at the entrance to the tomb, and then, in this ancient guttural voice, he said, "He is awake. He remembers." And then...
Then what?
He just died. Screaming.
Oh my God. It's chilling.
Yeah. It's a pivotal moment in the story because it shifts the focus from a possible disease to a conscious entity that they had disturbed.
Right, like something malevolent was released from the tomb and took control of Omar.
Exactly. And this raises serious questions about the official explanation given for the event's desert fever.
Desert fever.
Yeah. That's what the authorities claimed caused the illness and the deaths. But the survivors told a different story. They spoke of shadowy figures and dreams of something crawling beneath the sand.
That doesn't sound like any fever I've ever heard of.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if there was a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's the story of the worker who tried to reseal the tomb. He walked into the desert. His footprints were clearly visible in the sand. And then they just stopped. All they found were his boots, standing upright.
Wait, like somebody just plucked him up out of his boots.
It's a terrifying thought, isn't it?
It's a very unsettling image.
It really gives you a sense of the power and mystery of whatever they had unleashed.
Yeah, for sure. So what happened after that?
Well, the government stepped in. They shut down the excavation immediately, confiscated all the records, and sealed the entrance to the pyramid with concrete.
Wow. That's a pretty drastic response.
It speaks volumes about the level of perceived danger and the desire to just erase this whole discovery.
Yeah, like they were trying to bury the story along with the pyramid.
Exactly. But there's one final detail that throws a wrench into everything. Dr. Vance, before the end, he managed to get a message out. It was garbled, but there was one phrase that came through clearly. It wasn't the king they were keeping in.
Hold on. So the warning, the strange burial, it wasn't about containing a false king.
It seems not. It was about something else entirely.
So if not a king, then what was entombed in that pyramid? And what did those hieroglyphs mean when they referred to the other?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources we have provide these chilling details,